I'm your huckleberry.
This is the Smoking Guns Podcast.
No G. No G with the Z, P-O-D. This is the Smoking Guns Podcast. As I am minus one as we're getting this intro going. We do not have Philip with us. He is unfortunately without power, dealing with the barrel storm. Philip, we miss you. We wish you well. He's doing okay. He has updated us and he has posted on Facebook that him and his wife Diana are doing good. But they're still without power, unfortunately. So Philip unable to join us for this evening's show. But that's okay. This is Leo and with my lovely co-host RC Woods.
Hello, beautiful people.
And we are a podcast that covers professional football in San Antonio. Primarily right now, we are in the tail end, unfortunately, of the season for our beloved San Antonio Gunslingers. As I have to make sure I've got okay. Hey, we have joining us, Jay Washington. How you doing? Jason Wood and James Palmer, as well as others. Please bear with us. Sorry for the technical difficulties getting started as we are being a man down and dealing with technology. So, this week we had a game at the Freeman Coliseum. It was First Responders Night. RC, you were there at the game with me. Philip was in the booth as always, making the play call along with Ralph. Unfortunately, we are not able to see that broadcast because for some reason it was taken down off of YouTube for some sort of issue with some legal issue or something of copyright. But I have no idea what that is. I reached out to Philip. I said, "You got any idea why the broadcast was taken down?" He didn't know. He wasn't sure. He said, "Usually when there's something like that on these the IFL games, they get put up pretty quickly." And unfortunately, this week's game still to this day is not up at this time. So
that's crazy.
Music. So we have head coach Tom Manas joining us, and he's saying that the issue is music. I'm guessing the music that was playing in the background during the game. There was something that was caught. I guess YouTube is good about that. I think we even had.
It's probably that song "Still Believing." That's what it is.
I think we even
scratch that song.
A audio removed once from the Smoking Guns podcast. It might have been before we were Smoking Guns, where we had some audio on there, and somebody took exception to that, and we got past that. But for whatever reason, something with music, we are not able to go back and relive a great night. Really, Jordan as well saying it's "Don't Stop Believing." The good news is
I'm telling you, it's the song.
The good news on that is we broke the curse. We broke the jinx.
Yes.
On the "Don't Stop Believing" song. We talked about that song last week on last week's episode and how we didn't recall that song being played by the DJ during the game and us actually coming out with the win. And when they played it in the Freeman Coliseum this past week, myself and just about everybody standing along the end zone wall with us.
We're like, no.
It was just this groan from everyone saying, "No, why did you play that song?" Because we had yet to pull out a win with that song being played at the end. But we finally got off that horse, that
We
schneid
did.
or whatever you want to call it. We pulled out the win. San Antonio Gunslingers victorious. It was a great evening, a great night, first responders night. Again, the introduction at the beginning of the pregame, festivities, amazing with first responders.
They were
What
coming out of the ceiling.
coming down from the ceiling, rappelling down with the Texas and the American flag,
Loved it.
and a prayer unlike we've had before, um, which I loved, where the lady who did the prayer. I'm sorry, I don't have her name in front of me. If someone can mention that, that's watching, where she actually said she wanted to offer a special prayer
Prayer.
for the pirates, for safe travels home and to comfort them after the loss they'd be receiving down in Texas, which ended up being prophetic. That was a
That's
prophetic
right.
prayer, and it was really awesome. James Palmer saying that was awesome. It
It
got
was a good prayer.
a nice applause and laugh from everyone in attendance. I think it fired up Mississippi a little bit because they came out really pushing hard, really playing hard, and being physical. Um, for the first few minutes there, the first quarter, after seeing some negative plays, seeing the offense struggle a little bit, I was like, okay, maybe it wasn't the best thing to piss these guys off going into the game, but the gunslingers got things under control. They got their heads on and were able to kind of pick things up from there. And they had Mississippi really on the ropes the
On the
entire
ropes,
first.
right.
I keep
They
saying
were worried.
Mississippi,
They were
and
scared. They
I
played scared.
yes, I keep saying Mississippi, and it's Massachusetts. Thank you, Kevin Lewis, for correcting me. And April chiming in. Dory Brown, she's the San Antonio Police Department chaplain who delivered that awesome prayer that we talked about. Yes, thank you, Dory, for that moment. That's one of those kind of moments that we'll talk about, I think, for a long time and remember for a long time, because of I've never heard a prayer like that going into a sporting event. So that was pretty cool. RC, do you have anything that you circled on your what you noted from the game or going before the game, the production or anything that you wanted to talk about before we get into the talk of the game itself?
Well, I just wanted to say that I love the fact that the Gunslingers gives back to the community that gives
Mhm.
so much to the community. The fact that they were able to get in free to watch the game is incredible. That really shows
Yes.
the pride that the gunslingers have in this community, in this city. And I think that's something that a lot of people are missing out. I hear all the excuses. Oh, it's not really football. Well, I'm not really into arena football. But look beyond football and look what the whole organization is doing for the city. And for that reason, I don't understand why the Freeman was not packed. Because I know
Mm,
every one of us somehow has been touched by a first responder. If they
yes.
don't know one, they've helped them in some situation. Even for myself, when I was in the car accident, like about 3 weeks ago, I was telling Weston that they were checking me out, and thank God I wasn't hurt. Francesca wasn't hurt. And I said, I feel like I need to give something to you, to the first responders, as they were checking me. And they're like, no, 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 there's no need for that. I'm like, look, in my car, I have these flyers for the gunslingers. Please contact them and let them know that you helped RC Woods, and I'm sure they will help you get some tickets. And that really struck a chord with me because even that they had no idea who I was or anything, but knowing. And when I called Wes, and he's like, of course, I'll take care of them. If anyone calls, I'll take care of them. What other organization just so freely does that? I've never heard of that. And we've worked with
Mhm.
other organizations, and we can't even get an interview. We can't even get a handshake. We can't even get a picture sometimes. And so I think that really struck me, is that how proud I am of working with April and Jordan and Weston and everybody, because they truly are giving their heart and soul. And that's what first responders do. They don't are concerned about, oh, this is the heat or my life. They go all out. And that's what this organization is doing. So it might sound cliche, but they really have really come out and supported the team. They've
Mhm.
supported the players. They've supported the family. They've supported us. This little podcast, they've gone above and beyond. And I feel slighted that the city has not recognized that more. We should be getting more coverage on TV, on the news, And I think back about it's been 4 years, and no one ever said it was going to be easy, but we've all need to stick together as a family. If it was one of our family members, we wouldn't give up. We wouldn't say, oh, well, I knew it wasn't going to work, or I knew that, let's just change everything. No, we don't do that with family. We continue to support them. And so I think it really opened my eyes this game when I saw all the first responders that were there and them giving back to us and us giving back to them.
Yes, yes, absolutely 100%. And then to follow up what you're saying, RC, and I'm glad you're bringing this up now, because I want to say something. I want to add to that, but first I'm going to read this from April Stubing and her comment. You all know that April is a big part of the Gunslingers organization and putting together the production of the game, working hard. She had a conversation with me after the game that they had to have that turf and everything for a concert the next morning up by 3 in the morning. So
Oh
they
my
were there
gosh.
early in the morning on Saturday, getting the facilities ready and getting ready for the game, and then their work continued all the way through to the following morning, so they could have everything ripped down by 3 a.m. so they could roll out the stages that they had already kind of prefabricated back behind the curtain, back in the back, and bring that out and get everything ready for the concert that was going to be in the Freeman the following day. There are people that put so much work and heart and soul and blood, sweat, and tears to make this happen. And April here says that is exactly what we mean when we say that we are San Antonio's football team. We live here, we spend money here, and we support our community. And that's just what this organization has been for us, the fans, the Smoking Guns podcast, everyone who's been there and supported. And I have something I want, and I'm glad you brought that up, RC, as far as the city of San Antonio and the fans and first responders and everyone kind of giving that love and giving that support back to this organization because of what they've done. Some of you may notice I'm wearing here the number 12. This is the OG original San Antonio Gunslingers jersey from way back in the day, prior to the league that we were in before the IFL. At the very start, I'm not going to talk league names or anything. We're IFL, and that's who we support. But 2 leagues ago, and an ownership group ago on 1-2, it was January 2nd that the OG3, as we like to call them, came up with this idea and started talking. And things have just progressed and grown from there. And it's something I really want to kind of talk about and make sure everyone understands by the time we reach the end of this episode. Yes, that's right, Coach Quentin Humphrey. Speaking of OG, Quentin Humphrey Sr., Coach Q, we call him Q&O, who was part of that original team that first fielded over in the barn over at the Rose Palace. And we've said this before. This isn't anything new to the people following the show and our followers, our listeners. But I think this is a good moment. This is the perfect moment to kind of reflect, because there were a lot of hearts broken yesterday when we got the results in from some games. We were holding on to hope, faith, as Coach Tomanas says. Told us last week, keep the faith, and we had the faith. The Gunslingers went out and battled this past week, and we got a great game, a great show. First responders there. I have a good story about first responders I want to share, but we got to realize what this organization has come from and where it's going to. And that's something that we can all really be proud of and really appreciate.
Exactly.
And even though we might be hurting right now, and I didn't want to wait till this is typically something you say at the end of the season, like you reflect on where we're going and what to be, what to look forward to, what to be proud about. I actually don't think that we should wait till the end of the season for that. We should do it right now, because right now is
Exactly.
when people are hurting. Right now is when people are kind of on the edge and they're either going to jump off or they're going to, hold fast. And I want to deliver this message to the Gunslingers faithful, the Gunslingers posse, and everyone from the Gunslingers organization on behalf of the fans, the fan base, that this podcast tries to represent and tries to bring together, that we see and we recognize the beginnings, we recognize our roots, and we recognize the sacrifices, the hard work, and everything where we are right now, and we're excited about where things are going. you know um it's a great time to be a fan of football in San Antonio, and this organization is something that we can be very, very proud of and excited about, despite the sting, of knowing that
Right.
we're not going to be in the playoffs this year. There were expectations, there were um, not promises, but there were goals set that we didn't
Right.
quite achieve. And some people might, be upset over certain things. We've talked about officiating. We've talked about
Oh my gosh.
scheduling,
The worst.
everything. Yeah, everything that's kind of been stacked up against this organization, and to be where we're at right now. And some people might feel really down. I've talked to people. I've seen the Facebook posts, eliminated. Um, there's people that are, shedding tears over this, people that have put their heart and soul into their work for this organization. And it can be devastating to realize that you're not going to get where set out to be at the beginning of the season. But I don't think we need to focus on that. I think we need to focus on these last two games, on where we're going and what this organization should mean to us, San Antonio professional football fans. Philip checking
Exactly.
in.
This isn't a sprint. This is a journey. Is an adventure. And we can, this is literally, even though we've been together 4 years, this is our first year in the league. It's a learning process. And so we have to give ourselves, we have to give the organization, the teams, the players, the coaches grace, because that's what we would expect from ourselves, right? You can't do a
Right.
new job and expect to be perfect. So why are we judging other people, right? So I understand it's upsetting, but if you're a true fan, and as a parent, right, and you have your son out there playing or coaching or organizing all these entertainment and the events, you don't say, oh well, better, what are we going to do? You don't give up on them. You continue to encourage them. It's not how many times you fall down, it's how many times you get up that matters. And that's what this city's all about, really. That's what this team is about. We have grown so much. We have our own training facility. That wasn't even a dream that anyone could have had 4 years ago when we started with the Gunslingers. No one could have imagined that we've gone by up 3 tiers to different leagues. Nobody would have thought that. Nobody would have thought that we would have had cheerleaders that are as amazing as they are. No one would have thought that we've had the entertainment that we've had, the sponsorships that we've had. So we can only go up from here. Don't give up the faith. Be a true fan, because if it was up to you, you would give your own family members the same grace.
Absolutely, 100%. We have people chiming in. Tina Myers Haddad, who cheers on her son every game. DJ Myers, who again had a
Excellent
phenomenal game
player.
for the Gunslingers. Hope we can. You'll love our San Antonio Gunslingers. Hope we can bring all our guys back. Danny Bird, who joined us last week, who came out to watch his son play last week in San Antonio, had a great time with us. The future is bright. Yeah, we fell short this week. Just with the two wins that Philip was talking about on Sunday, tough to watch those. We held out hope, Both games, Tucson and Bay Area end up going from winning their games like we needed to both getting beat. There were come from behind victories. And yeah, it stung a bit, but that's not what I want to focus on, because um, if you kind of focus on that, and then you kind of think, well, what's the point of these last two games, and you let that spirit die. And I don't think that's what we want. That's not what the Gunslingers need. They need the support. They need people filling the Freeman Coliseum, coming to the seats, showing them the support and the love that they need to stick
Right.
around. And
They
I
need
want
it
to,
now more than ever. They need
yes.
it on July 20th when we have that last home game. They need every seat to be filled. They need everyone screaming at the top of their lungs, bringing their cowbells. This is not the time to give up and feel sorry for ourselves. This is the time for us to shine. So when they go low, we go high. This is our chance to go high, because we can do it. We're there to support everyone, and especially the team, the players. I mean, if we feel heartbroken, can you imagine how they feel? And this podcast, we're horrible with numbers. And I hate that it came down to numbers, right?
Yeah.
Because chances and all that stuff, it's not a strong suit. But what is our strong suit? It's faith. What is our strong suit? Support. And that's where we have to look at our strengths and not give up, keep on going, and show these men that we are here for them, not only for the good, the bad, the ugly, for all of it. And we can do that. And we can show up and show out on July 20th, the last game. Call a friend, bring your neighbor, you name it, bring them to that game on July 20th. I want that arena to be filled from top to bottom, head to toe.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome to really kind of, send off the season, send off the Gunslingers of 2024 with the best crowd yet. Like Jay Washington says, I remember at the beginning of the season when the hype guy would tell us to get loud on offense, I would laugh, but now I get scared because of how many more fans showed up recently and how loud we actually are. And people, uh, screaming and being loud while the Gunslingers are on offense, when you should be quiet when they're out there. But we had fans out there who were showing the new people and saying, no, be quiet right now. But when the defense is out there, it gets insanely loud, and it's
It
awesome to
does.
see. It's awesome to see the crowd, and the crowd sticks around to the very end. Of course, the action on the field for these last couple of games have given us every reason to stay till the very end. But it's loud and rowdy, and it's just a great feeling to be a part of that experience. Um, April
It's
Stubing,
definitely entertaining. I will say
yes,
that.
100%. April Stubing again chiming in. We always say to come to a game and you will become a fan. This last game, I had the firefighter that I worked with for the Rappel team text me yesterday saying that they had the best time and he will be back for the next game with his family and his sisters. I had the color guard come up to me in the middle of the game and say he wants to do the colors at every game. Said he came in with very low expectation and now he wants to be part of all of it. That is truly amazing, but not surprising. Not, I have to
Right.
say, it's not surprising for any of us that have been watching the games, watching this team grow, and watching the production and what they have to offer each and every home game, every week, every game night. It's so much fun, win or lose. You walk out of there like having. I don't think anybody walks out of there regretting the experience. They
Or
might regret the
disappointed.
way. Right. They might be disappointed or regret how the game turned out, but the experience itself is always top notch. Um,
And it's
and
good family fun that's not
yes,
going to break the bank. In this era right now, you go to a Whataburger and with a family of four, you're already in 30, 40, $50. You can take that, come to the game and actually enjoy it, not worry about R rating or this or that. There's so much positive role models, from the cheerleaders to the players, to the coaches, to
hmm
Robert, who does an excellent job with the video. I mean, there's
hmm
someone there that will show you what a true gentleman and a true lady is all about if you attend one of these games, and you will not be disappointed.
absolutely not, 100%. Um, I do want to continue with this, but let's go ahead and take a quick break, as we normally do. So I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna take a break. But please, those of you who are with us, do not leave. Stay with us. Just take a minute here as we get ready for the next segment. And there's some things we want to talk about and some points I want to make, and I want to make sure we have as many people as possible. So please stay with us. We will be right back. Uh, and we're back. Smoking
Ooh,
Guns.
costume change.
Yes, costume change out of the original jersey. Then this is the custom jersey that I got a couple seasons ago. And then I don't know if anybody noticed the first hat that we had there, but it was for the old, now defunct AAF San Antonio Commanders. And I've gone with the Brahmas hat from last season when we had the inaugural XFL season in the Alamo Dome, showing my support there for San Antonio professional football and kind of a progression on the jersey to the Gunslingers and the second league that they were a part of just last season. But kind of with the costume, hey, Abel Chavez, why you got to flex so hard? Yeah, I'm a big fan, and I've got a lot of stuff that I
You
probably
have a lot of choices. That's a good thing.
yeah. Um, but it's all love. It's all love and love for football and for these organizations and for the fan base and all the fans and the connections we've made. And that's kind of a point I'm making over the years, as RC you mentioned a bit ago. Um, with the people behind the scenes. And I said we were going to talk about the game, and I don't even know that we're going to get to the actual game itself. We know that the Gunslingers won. We know what happened on the field. I do want to mention a couple of things as far as some observations from that. But at
Sure.
this point in time, it doesn't really matter. It's not relevant to the point of this episode and what I want to talk about moving forward after people were so bummed out yesterday, and understandably so. I was bummed out as well with the news that we were officially eliminated from playoff contention. Um, Jordan saying, let's see that closet, Leo." Yeah, yeah, maybe one day. But kind of what I wanted to say is to your point, RC, you mentioned a while ago, the people behind this organization putting their hard work, Robert Seco, April Stubing, the Stubings, everyone involved in behind the scenes and getting new people involved, the first responders and all these theme nights, superhero night, Jordan Stubing with all the awesome work that he's done on the jerseys and the
Sure.
merch, and a big reason on why my closet looks the way it does. um you know these are individuals that we need to support and we need to show love to. um the hat I was wearing a little while ago for the AF Commanders. I mean, they got lots of love from the community of San Antonio. Those
They
games
did.
were awesome in the Alamo Dome. And what did we end up with? We had a billionaire on a golf course making a phone call and just cutting it like that. Just in a matter of seconds, minutes, the word came down and everything was just ripped away. Players were kicked out onto the street.
That's
Hotel
right.
rooms were locked. Players didn't have ways to get home, even
I
transportation, none
remember
of that.
that.
Players that were dealing with injuries had their medical coverage, stripped from them.
Cut.
Yeah, they're just totally just dropped like a rock. That's something that will never ever happen with this organization.
Never.
100%. This ownership group, Don Rackler and everyone who supports this team and makes this happen, from the ownership all the way down to coaches, to trainers, the six shooters, everyone. The day this, God forbid this ever happens, but the day this has to end, it's not going to be a phone call from a golf course. It's not going to be a decision made like this in the interest of profit or the interest of technology, like, was what was talked about with taking the technology that the AAF had, because that owner had other interests that he could use it for. It's not going to be anything like that. If that day ever comes, it's going to come with a lot of tears, a lot of emotions, a lot of heartbreak, and it's going to be a hard decision that's going to be pondered over lots of time, and is going to just be it's going to be devastating, not just to the fan base but to everyone involved. And I'm hoping that's never going to happen, and I believe now that if it were to ever happen, it's not going to be anytime soon, because of what we see and the effort we see from these people behind this organization. And
Absolutely.
that's the point that I'm making. Like, we can take comfort and we can have the confidence in this organization, in these people, because it's family. It's so much more to them than an investment. It's so much more to them than just an opportunity to take advantage of a market and say, this is a place that we can maybe get some revenue, and if it doesn't work, they can just cut ties and move on. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen with this organization. That's not going to happen with the Gunslingers and everyone around them, the people in that's have invested not just money but their time and effort and
Right.
everything. I see this here from head coach Tom Manas, and actually, coach, I had this flagged on my on my browser here. I was going to pull this up and read this because I think your message absolutely is, nails it right on the head. Uh, Coach Tomanos, I posted this today. I just wanted to thank everyone. No doubt we fell short of two of our goals this year. One, make the playoffs, and two, win a championship. Disappointed? Absolutely. However, it's important to define the goals we did achieve. Built a franchise that is sustainable, built a infrastructure that is second to none, best facilities in the country, bring in the highest character personnel to the team and community, provide the people of San Antonio affordable family entertainment. And it goes on, and I will bring this up because of the limitations here. It doesn't show his whole message, but I have it here on my browser, just like I said. Um, Bring in the highest character personnel to the team and community, provide the people of San Antonio affordable family entertainment, and lastly, we created a culture that honors God, country, family, and football. These players, coaches, and myself are so very grateful to the fans of the San Antonio Gunslingers for their love, passion, and support. It's not the end. It's only the beginning of great and powerful things to come. Our job is not done this year. Tucson and Arizona yet to be played. We would appreciate your continued support as we complete this first year in the IFL. Much love and God bless. Perfectly said. Thank you for saying that, Coach Manas. Thank you for sharing that with us. To say that now, I was definitely going to share that sentiment, because it's exactly the message that we've always received from the San Antonio Gunslingers. Is
Absolutely.
it's a it's a there's passion behind this. There is so
Hmm.
much more invested in this besides money. And and
Time,
they
love.
absolutely, and they deserve our investment and our support in return. If that day that I talked about a little while ago ever comes where a tough decision has to be made, it's not going to be the fault of the ownership or the organization. It's going to be our faults. It's going to be on the San Antonio community who didn't support what what these people and this ownership and these coaches and everyone we've talked about. has wholeheartedly put all of their love and time and effort in. Um, I can't say enough about this organization and where it is and where it's going. It's something that the city of San Antonio should be proud of. Everyone that comes in has
Most definitely.
experienced it. Whether it's one game, I saw someone comment earlier, it only takes one game, James Palmer, and you have people, deciding they want to become a part of it. Earlier, we had Josh and Elizabeth Clayton saying they got their season tickets for next season after coming to the game this past week. Um, we had other fans are saying it was their first game from Houston that were saying that they had a great time. So many people come in, and yeah, they have people think of arena football that don't know and haven't experienced it, and they think less of it because it's a smaller field, and it's not the NFL, it's not what they would consider the top tier talent. But then they realize there is a lot of talent on this field, and it's not about the size of the field, it's about the size of the heart of the guys that are out there playing for us. And you can see tons of heart in every one of these players that are representing San Antonio and the San Antonio Gunslingers. I can't say enough about Clifton Duck and the performance that he put on this past week, despite that terrible, terrible collision with the concrete that he had when he
Yes, and
gave up his body to go over the board to try to defend a play and make sure it
right.
wasn't caught for a touchdown. And he went over the wall into a table, head first into the concrete. And there was lots of concern for people down there trying to make sure he was okay. I thought
Yep.
there's no way he's going to be able to come back. I mean, it looked
He
bad.
came back.
He came back in the second half and played maybe the best game of the season. And that's saying a lot because Clifford Duck is a heck of he's probably our best defensive back. He's a heck of a player. And he broke up, I don't know how many passes in the second half, like big time. Came out and really showed a lot of heart and a lot of love on that field. And that's what we see. And that's what we see on every given week from everybody involved.
And we
Philip,
saw some new faces. I know Warren and Cecilia were there. Those are our friends from the Brahmas. We saw some of the podcasters from Horns Forward, Jason and Jackie Martinez. And so they were there from the bullpen also. So
yes.
come on over. I know it was also sad when the Brahma season was over, but that doesn't mean football has to end here in San Antonio. That's the greatest thing. Just hop on over and come down the street from the Alamo Dome and meet us at the Freeman. And so the the thing that keeps us all together is the love of football, right? And that shouldn't have to end. And it doesn't have to end. We have options. And our next option is the Gunslingers. Yes, we only have two more games, but jump on board with us. Join the family. Join the passion. We have 2 more weeks. Let's shine. Let's show them what the city of San Antonio is all about and our love for football. Because I don't want people complaining, oh, we don't ever have an NFL team. Yes, but let's support the teams we do have. How about that?
Yep. We
That's
have
what I see that we need to do. And it's not just one person. Tell your coworkers, tell your neighbors, tell your relatives. I mean, this is air conditioned. We're actually going to even have tailgating for those people who are like, oh, there's no tailgating. Guess what? There's tailgating next week. And this one, making shots. So if you don't come for anything else, come for my shots because I know I make good shots.
that's there has been evidence of that in the past for sure. So I
That's true.
if she's putting out that invitation and you like some shots and having a little fun, then definitely talk to
Come see
RC
me.
about that. Um I gotta bring this up again from head coach Tom Manas,
Sure.
because he says he's leaving. I'll leave you with this: if only Foot Locker wouldn't have laid off so many guys this spring, I'm sure things could have been different. Much love. Good night. And what he means is obviously the officiating, and that has been one of the downsides or the complaints of this league in the IFL so far. But I want to say, and because Coach Manas brought that up, It's 100% true because we have really had some
Witnessed it.
challenges with those
We've been
guys
there.
and seen it throughout the season. This game was better, but there were some really questionable uh, calls out there
Calls.
or non-calls, decisions made. I've got a little story of an exchange with the referee that I'll bring up in a little bit, but I want to touch on what Coach Tom Manas said. Even with that, if we're gonna complain about anything this season and this season in the IFL, some people, talk about the defense giving up the most points in the IFL this season. The record despite having the highest scoring offense. Some people talk about the officiating. Um, there's lots of things that we can complain about, but you know what? It's all football related. It's
True.
all stuff that in any league, anywhere you go, any organization, you're going to have that stuff to complain about. Nobody's ever happy with the
True.
refs, the Foot Locker,
Nobody.
former Foot Locker employees that need to go back and I don't know, maybe they can hire them at Foot Action or something. But
There you go.
the stuff we've complained about, it's all football related. It's not things outside of football. It's not about ownerships folding. It's not about teams
Exactly.
traveling and having games last minute canceled because venues are shutting doors or players are not being paid or not having
Finance.
accommodations. It's not, our team traveling 9 whatever hours it is to El Paso. It feels like 20 because it's such a long drive through the desert, and getting to a stadium that doesn't even have padding. They have metal beams and they expect you to play in those kind of conditions. It's not
Right.
that sort of thing in the IFL. I will take that. I will gladly take that in this progression where we have come from and steadily done this on an upward trend to where we're at now in the IFL, where all of
Going
our
up,
complaints
baby.
are football related. I mean, you go to the highest level and your complaints are going to be football related. They're related to the sport. They're not related to the league. They're not related to ownership groups folding or not taking care of their players, their coaches, their employees, their people, their fans. I haven't heard any of that from this league this season. So you know
Not
what?
once.
I will gladly sit here and talk about James Palmer brings up another one, Kali getting ejected, unrightfully so. Very
Crazy.
upsetting, but it's football related. I will take that. I will live with those complaints happily and look forward. And we've lost RC, unfortunately. I'm sure she'll be right back. But yeah, as much as that kind of stings and pisses us off and makes us a little angry, what we've had to deal with the officiating, if you truly reflect and know and see where this organization has come from and had to deal with in the past, I will take it. I will gladly take those sort of complaints, those sort of gripes, and attribute it to the sport because that's what it is. And yes, the officiating has to improve. It needs to improve. There's some things that we need to address. I'll go ahead and talk about it now. Now that we talked about the point that Coach Benas made. I had an exchange with one of the referees at this game where on the extra points, the point afters, and Massachusetts was doing the drop kicks. And we've talked about this in the last couple of shows. So I was like
Mm-hmm.
watching really closely when they were on our side of the field from that end zone. And I saw one late in I think it was the third quarter, where I got a really good glimpse through the line of the kicker as he drops that ball and kicks it. And I did not see that ball go anywhere near the turf. He dropped it, goes off his foot and through the uprights, and they signal, successful 2 point. And I'm like, that ball did not hit the turf. No way it hit the turf. I definitively saw it with my own eyes. It did not hit the turf. So next opportunity I got, I'm speaking with a referee, and I said, "Is there anybody watching to make sure that ball on those drop kicks hits the turf?" And he goes, "Yeah, that's me." It was the white hat. He says, "Yeah, it's me. I watch for that." And I said, "Well, that last one I was watching, and he goes, it hit the turf. And I said, well, I'm not going to say you're wrong, but from my point of view, it sure looked like it didn't hit the turf. And then he says, they never look like they hit the turf, which totally blew my mind.
Whatever, dude. That was
First
not
he
a good
says,
answer.
yeah, first he says he's watching and he makes sure it hits the turf, and then he follows that up by saying, "Oh, it never looks like it hits the turf." If you're saying it never looks how it hit that like it hits the turf, but that's what you're supposed to be watching for, how does that
Why aren't
make
you
any
calling it?
sense, dude? And yeah, he's like, "Well, it's so instantaneous. It's just boom boom." And I'm like, "Yeah, I get that, and I know how a drop kick is supposed to be done, but that's not what I saw." And it's not what I've seen multiple times this season, and it's just not being addressed by the officiating. What was addressed by the officiating, speaking a little while ago on Kali Rashad's ejection,
Horrible.
disqualification because of two unsportsmanlike conduct penalties. And, on the second one, you get ejected from the game. The first one is a mystery. I have no idea how they did it. It was offsetting. They called it on two players. Kali Rashad didn't even look like he was near the play. There was a Massachusetts player that faked. I mean, he did a worse flop than LeBron James, falling back into the end zone when there was like very minimal to no contact on him. And the next thing we see, flags flying. Khalil Rashad wasn't anywhere near that, but neither was the player that they flagged for Massachusetts. So I don't know if there was another exchange, but that was a head scratcher. Like, what just happened? And then late in the game, and I really wish the broadcast was up so we could see that, on that second penalty where I believe they called taunting, because Kali kind of slowed down as he was going into the end zone, or he looked back. He looked up to look at the clock on the Jumbotron because this was very late in the game, and you're trying to kill as much time as you can before you score because you don't want to give Massachusetts ample
More
time to
to get
score and
to
win the
score.
game. Yeah. And that's all that it was doing. And they called a penalty on him. And the unsportsmanlike. But I think James Palmer, he says it was unsportsmanlike. I think it was because they were saying it was taunting. Anyway, I have it on good authority. I was shown the text. A text came in from the head of officiating who was watching that and saw that play and disagreed with the call. So hopefully something gets addressed here. Last week was absolutely atrocious and horrible. This week was not as bad. I think the penalty count was 10-8, and it was actually 10 on Massachusetts versus 8 on the Gunslingers. So we can't complain a whole lot, but some of the stuff that they did make, some of the calls they did make on Clifton Duck on the unsportsmanlike conduct on targeting, which was just an absolute 100% football play, a great hit that he made on that receiver. And it's absolutely, that was an atrocious call. I mean, it's football. This is football that we're playing. And
I feel, and not to say I believe in conspiracy theories, but I feel like the Gunslingers had a target on their back. And I think this game, that it kind of was aimed at Kali because they know the force he can be. And so I just feel like if they could get him out of the game, even for a few plays, it was going to be worth it. Now, I hate saying that, right? Because you think and you want to believe that the refs are fair, but it hasn't always been that obvious to at least me as a fan who's right there on the field that they're always calling the accurate plays.
Yep. Kevin Lewis chiming in, watching the game replay on KCWX right now, and you are correct on both accounts. Philip Higginbotham, so they never actually said it was a taunting penalty, just unsportsmanlike conduct. There's a version of the story that number 5 said something unsportsmanlike, and that was the penalty. Knowing Kali the way I know him, I don't know. I can't say I believe that, but even if he did, I want to say, I mean, there's been some things that I've seen out there. Nyquan Murray, for example, on his unsportsmanlike conduct, it was because it was a result of frustration from
True.
prior things that happened because of the officiating. So if Kali did say something, it was because of something. And
Probably
you know what?
merited.
There was a flag on that play, and it could have been his frustration of turning around and seeing the flag on the turf. Um, and that's another thing because of course there have been a lot of flags thrown on Kali Rashad plays, touchdowns lately. But Naquan Murray visibly upset because it happened on the end zone on our side where he was held. The guy pulled his jersey as he's running his route, and the ball
Right.
falls incomplete into the end zone. And Naquan Murray turns to the ref, and he's looking for that flag, and there was no flag coming. And he was beside himself. And he goes to the official, and he's like, "Well, how can you not throw that flag? Did you see what I mean?" And he said he's pulling my jersey, and he now this is what the penalty was. He reached out, he grabbed the Foot Locker jersey
The jersey.
from the Foot Locker employee and demonstrated where he was being tugged. Didn't touch his person, just his jersey. And as he did
Right.
that, of course, then the flag
Boom.
comes out. Yeah, and Naquan was visually upset, and so
Right.
you got to keep your cool. We're professionals. I understand that side of it, and you got to control what you can control. Luckily, this time around, the officiating didn't cause us to not get the W. The Gunslingers,
But it could have.
yeah, it really could have. It was close, and that's why this week's show Deja Vu, because it was almost like last
I know.
week, just a flip flop version where we
Right.
were up by 5 with just a few minutes, a few ticks on the clock. Where last week they were up by 5, and then they scored, but then we got to score again, and then we were up 3. So it was almost a replay, just flip flop until the last couple of minutes played out, and the Gunslingers come away with a 3-point win as Massachusetts misses a 50 yards a field goal, wide right, I believe, and the Freeman Coliseum just goes crazy. It's pandemonium, and we ensue with the celebration on the field with the players. Shout out to TC Stevens, who had a great night, maybe a career night. I think he hit 4 deuces, if I'm not mistaken.
He was amazing. He was on fire. He was on fire.
But yeah, bar none, my player of the game is Clifton Duck. If you watched him on defense, and especially in the second half, after sustaining that injury and going out for a little bit, he broke up at least 2 or 3 would-be touchdowns in the end zone. Played phenomenally and really left everything he had out on the field. And the goal was to win that game and keep hopes alive. And unfortunately, things played out the way they did yesterday. And we didn't get that. But I don't want people to be too disheartened. Don't want the fans to say, well, the season's over. There's no reason to kind of be there for these last 2 games or celebrate these last. That's the worst possible thing we could do as Gunslingers fans, as Gunslinger posse. And this is the time where we really need to have some pride in what we've accomplished. Really root for 9-7. We're 7-7 right now. But it's not what we wanted. It wasn't the goal at the beginning of the season, but like Coach Tom Manas, think of all the other goals that we accomplished just this season.
Exactly.
And if you take into retrospect, you take into consideration where we've been in the seasons before to where we're at now, it is absolutely 100% amazing. Jordan Stubing, I saw something here. He said they threw the flag before anything could have possibly happened. So I think he's probably talking about Kali Rashad when he just turned around. He says as soon as the score is super close at the end of the game, the BS call start up. I can't argue with that. That's just kind of
Right.
what we've seen. And yeah, like I said, if we're going to complain about officiating, I hate it and it needs to get better. And yeah, we might be in a better position for playoffs this season had the officiating not been so terrible in some of the
True.
previous games where it cost us more dearly than it did this time around. But I will take it if that's what we're complaining about.
Right. And
Ralph,
one thing that I want to say is that I'm so proud to be part of this podcast because we never sugarcoat stuff, right? We tell you like how it is because We want the fans to be able to trust us. And I think that's our key to our success as a podcast. The one is that we make the connections with the fans. I mean, I don't think anyone can say that they come up to us and we're not willing to take a picture with them or share a drink with them or share anything with them. And I think that comes with that is our honesty. That even though we would love to be like sugarcoat everything and everything is, coming out roses, it's not. And we're able to tell the truth and be honest with you. And I think that is our true, I guess, skill or positive that we have on this podcast. And I just want you to know, thank you for keeping us honest. And the way we do that is by our interactions when you come on and you make your comment. So I want to appreciate and thank everyone
Yes.
who takes the time to make a comment. We may not read all of them and we may not be able to respond to them, but we appreciate because you are and you make our podcast. Because if it was just the three of us or the two of us talking, it's not the same. And I truly want to say thank you for all of the comments, good, bad, positive, negative, the bulls fit, all of that, because we love it, because we grow, because you help us. You make us a better podcast. And so I just want to say thank you to that.
100% RC. And I could say that Philip as well feels this way. We've had discussions before as a podcast where we came from before, where we were just recording audio and putting that out on the podcast channels. And once we went to this new software that we're using where we're able to go live and interact on Facebook and YouTube and being able to make our listeners, our followers part of the show. He's even said it like he didn't have the expectation, like he wasn't even sure we should make that change, but once we
Right.
did it and experienced it a couple of times, like this is just so much better. It is so great to be able to kind of talk with you guys and share what you all guys are feeling when it comes to the season or the game or a player or coaches or things outside the game, the six shooters. It's so much better to be able to share those experiences with you, and you guys share your experience as well for everyone who's listening and following and watches later. For those that can't watch live, like I said, I ran into a fan earlier this season who bought one of our podcast jerseys. I can't think of his name right now. I apologize, but he told me he listens to every show or watches the show after the fact when he's working. But because of his job, he can't join us live. But he's listened to every single show, and who knows how many people we have like that. And you guys just make this so much more fulfilling and fun.
For sure.
This podcast, we're not in it to make any money or anything like that. We don't have sponsorships. We don't push for sponsorships. We do this because we love talking football with you guys, and we love supporting the San Antonio football community. And we
And we
love
love your
sharing these
support.
stories. Yes, absolutely. Another story I wanted to mention real quick, because you said making connections. Vincent Gregory, who's on amazing run, by the way, scored a touchdown in this last game. After that, when they did the kickoff, he come down to the end zone, and he was, he hasn't. I'm not sure how long he's been with the team, but I know he hasn't been on the field a whole lot. He got a chance this time because Harper was out with injury, and man, what a run! And he comes back to the end zone when they're getting ready for the kickoff, and I'm like, yo, Gregory, that was a fantastic run, dude. And he turns around and he's like, I can see through his helmet, smile ear to ear, and he's showing guns up and he's engaging with the other fans. And that is just an experience that you get with these guys, um, that you get with these guys that you don't get anywhere else.
That's
As
true.
far as the fan experience and engaging with these players. Um, April Stubbe say he's been here all season. Yeah, he's just not spent a whole lot of time on the field at running back.
Playing time.
And it's next man up. And when he got his opportunity, he made the most of it.
You
Jordan
sure did.
Stubing, comments, playoffs or not, we're going to put on the best show possible. We're here for our fans. We're going out with a bang. Be there with us so we can celebrate this season together. We genuinely love our Gunslingers family. And that's just the point we're trying to make here. And for those that don't realize it or don't, haven't had enough experience to see that, 100%, I can say that is felt every single game, every single watch party, which there's a watch party this week, I believe,
Mhm.
for the away game in Tucson. So if you
Main
can make
event,
it
I
to
believe.
that, yeah, at main event, I'm not sure which one. So if one of you guys want to chime in, we can let everyone know
I'm
where that's
thinking
going to
it's the
be.
one off of 281 and 1604, but if somebody wants to verify that, that would be great.
Yep. We're gonna take another break real quick here. Don't go away. We will be right back to kind of wrap things up, and
Bullseye.
we'll do our bullseye and bull spit. And we're back. And once
Yay!
again, another change with what's
You're like
possibly
almost Janet Jackson with all these costume changes. I don't want
yeah.
no mishaps, though. I'll
I
close my eyes before that happens.
I promise you there will not be a costume mishap.
Okay, good.
I can't tell you which of these amazing jerseys that Jordan Stubing has designed this season is my favorite, but this is definitely up there. The Fiesta one, just gotta love the colors. I get compliments on it every time I sport it out there. And then of course, still supporting our Brahmas. This is the latest hat that I got from this past season. Um, and it was just kind of like a funny kind of mushy way that I kind of wanted to make a point of the progression of where we've been versus where we are, and showing the support from beginning to the end and continuing to get excited about new things that are to come, and to be, you know comfortable, or not comfortable, but to take comfort in knowing that this isn't going to get ripped away from us overnight. There's too many people that put a lot of love into this, and we need to
Yes.
return that love as much as possible so we can make this long lasting. Gunslingers aren't going anywhere. Where there's already, we're talking about next season and what's going to happen, because we fully expect season 2 in the IFL. That's not why I'm saying this. What I'm saying is that, as bad as we might feel knowing that there isn't going to be a playoff run this year, there's no reason to be too disheartened. Upset, yeah, be upset, but because we wanted more, but take comfort in knowing that we could still go out there and do that. I was talking to Robert Seco earlier today, and
Love
he
him.
yeah, he's the absolute best videographer in the entire
Ever.
IFL and maybe anywhere. I would have to say anywhere. Great guy, passionate guy, loves the Gunslingers organization, loves the six shooters, loves what he does. He always says that he's got the best job in the world, and he's truly blessed. And we are truly blessed to have him. And
Hmm.
he's very passionate. And he was really happy after the game. He came up to me and he said, "No tears this week," because he's confessed to shedding tears last week when we lost to Frisco so dishearteningly in the last second. And so after the game, he was all smiles, and he said, "This is what it's all about. This is what makes
It's
me
true.
do what I do and put so much heart into what I do." And then today, he mentioned how he shed some more tears, and how down he was over the results from yesterday's games. But I said, "Hey, man, think of it, let's be proud of what we have. We got two more games to have fun and experience and play spoiler. I think James Palmer said a little while ago. And then we can look forward to next year as being the revenge season, the revenge tour,
There
where
you
we can
go.
go back. And he's like, I like that. And I said, yeah, that's what we need to look forward to. And he's not be disheartened about, because this, I mean,
Keep your head up.
keep your head up, guys. There's more fun to come. We got 2 more games this season with this team. We'll see what the team looks like next season. Like Tina said earlier, let's bring them all back. Let's run it again. Realistically, it's a sport, it's a business. Not everyone's going to be back. We'll cross our fingers that we get as many of these guys back as we can. But then, you make changes. Your coaches are always trying to put the best team, and if they're doing their jobs, by trying to put the best guys out there that they can, looking at local talent, looking at talent for far away. Local talent is nice. We love our local guys. We love Kali Rashad. We love to cheer for our hometown heroes. But as these guys come in and become gunslingers, they are our hometown heroes. We'll see what happens in the next season, but we definitely don't want to be disheartened these next 2 weeks. We got to show as much support as we can. Starting this week, confirmed from April Stubing, it is at the main event, 1604 and 281. They will be playing the Tucson Sugar Skulls on, I believe it's Saturday. Let me pull up the schedule here real quick. At Tucson Sugar Skulls, Saturday at 8 p.m. Central. So 8:05 is the official kickoff time, Saturday, July 13th.
A little late. But
A
it's
little late,
summertime.
but it's a Saturday. It's a Saturday.
It's summertime.
So, yeah. And you get up Sunday, go to church or whatever it is you do on Sunday morning, and you have time to recover before work on Monday.
There you go.
Yeah, let's see. We got something here. You just need to have the new flag hung up you got on Saturday, Leo, because that's an awesome flag. Yes, that is yet another thing. Another thing of evidence of this organization and how much they love their fans. That flag is awesome. It's the United States flag, for those of you that didn't get to see it, with the Gunslingers logo on top. Definitely, I had to get one of those. I was glad that I was able to get one. They were free to the first 1,000 fans, and I think at halftime they were still waiting for people to come pick them up. I don't know why, because they're really cool. So hopefully those flags all went home with someone. Jay Washington checking in. The fact we're eliminated from the playoffs, the bad officiating, it was better this week. Oh, I see. I'm getting ahead of myself. Jay, that is his bullseye and bullspit for the week. Kevin Lewis here. Crazy Buffalo connection with the Gunslingers, Castronova, Ducks, and Gregory from Buffalo, and Kali's family from Buffalo. That is awesome. Yeah, something we're learning here on the Smoking Guns podcast. So the San Antonio Gunslingers organization definitely reaches far and beyond where it has any season prior. We have people coming down to see games, from Virginia and from all kinds of places to root for their sons and root for the team, and people online watching games and being fans from afar. We got Jay Washington coming down every home game from Austin every single time, coming down on the bus. So definitely the Gunslingers love stretches way outside of the boundaries of 1604 and the San Antonio city limits. So yeah, let's go ahead and wrap up now with our favorite segment of Bullspit and Bullseye. I will go ahead and let you start, RC, with your Bullspit and Bullseye, and then if any of you guys want to chime in with your Bullspit and Bullseye for the week, we will bring those up as we bring this episode to a close.
Well, my bullseye has to go to the athletic trainers. And I saw firsthand when that player went over the wall, landed face first, hit a table, and they were there within seconds. And all the times that they run out in the field and they're providing water for all of the players to keep them hydrated. And I even saw I think it was like the third quarter when someone was getting a cramp and everyone was over there trying to stretch out his legs. Jordan actually came out to help him off the field. they are such a huge part of the team, and maybe they don't always get recognized, but they are there before the game. They're there during the game. They're there after the game. They're providing the water. There when it doesn't matter what team the player gets hurt, they're there. And so my bullseye would be for those athletic trainers that are there giving 110%. And then my Bulls fit would be, I hate to bring this up, but I hope that people listen. The attendance that should have been packed on Saturday. So with that, I'm going to only go up from here and say that that arena can be and should be and will be packed on the 20th, because we need to do our job. The players are doing their jobs. The coaches are doing their jobs. The administration and all of those behind the scenes, let's do our job. Let's encourage, let's invite, let's bring 2, 3, 4, 5 people to the game on the 20th. So a bullseye, bulls fit. How about you, Leo?
Yes, well, I'm going to hold on to mine for a little bit. I will read Jay Washington's here, which I jumped the gun on and was reading earlier. So, bull spit from Jay Washington. The fact we're eliminated from the playoffs, the bad officiating.
I see that.
It was better this week. And bullseye attendance is better. The crowd getting loud with the chants. TC Stevens.
That's true.
The pregame prayer and the anthem. So the pregame festivities, which we talked about the prayer, that was awesome. Yes. Yeah, and then he adds more for the bullseye. The flags being lowered by the first responders. The best videographer in the league. Thank you, Robert Seco. And
love
that
Robert
ball behind Leo. He's talking about, as I point right there, that ball right there is a ball that Jay Washington actually got during the game and was gracious enough to give to Lolis. Because she's been wanting and trying to get a ball all season. Now, I do have the other ball that's sitting up on the top. That's up on top. I'm trying
there
to
you go. There it is. There it is. You're like trying to, looks like you're picking your nose. Don't do that.
Yeah.
There you go.
That is a Frisco Fighters ball that Khalil Rashad handed to me after a touchdown. And then later I got him and Castronova to sign because it was a pass from Castronova. So I had both players sign that ball. But no San Antonio Gunslingers ball. And Loli's really, really wanted one. And Jay Washington, who already has a ball or maybe two, was very gracious enough to hand that one over to Lolis and said, here you go. So she asked me to display it in the show here behind me in my office. So yes, thank you very much, Jay, and that is for sure a bullseye. And we have another here from Jessica Palmer. Bullseye, the amazing win we got. Bull spit, the stupid calls being missed or made. Yes,
I agree.
Very frustrating, those calls being missed or made, and getting that win this week after last week and kind of doing it in the same fashion. It was a great feeling in contrast to the week before.
True.
Missions Highlighter has a bull spit here for us. The season coming to an end in a few weeks. We'll have to wait till next April for Gunslinger football. Bull's Eye, Jordan, April, Robert, and everyone else that puts everything together for us as fans. Can't thank them enough. Wish we could return the favor. Yes, have to agree with both of those as well. We're very grateful for all the work that those people put in.
And you do a great job too.
It's truly amazing. And thank you to the Missions Highlighter, Alfred Rodriguez, for your support.
For your support.
Of the Gunslingers and the support of the show. And he texts me after the last couple of games, very frustrated with the officiating as well. I feel that. I definitely do. Jason Wood, Bullseye, shout out to all the staff that puts the games together. We stayed this last game to help break down, and it's a lot of work. These guys and gals that put in the work to bring us the game need a big hand. Leo, good to see you again this last game. Yes, Jason, and thank you, Jason, as well. I definitely want to give him a shout out as he volunteered in the last show and met me at the game and gave us his donation to sponsor a child for the upcoming football camp that the San Antonio Gunslingers are going to run. The Smoking Guns podcast is going to sponsor a child as well
Much love.
as we usually do. So that is 2 kids that are going to be sponsored. If you know a young kid, I'm assuming they go up to 18, a young player that wants to go to this camp, and money is an issue or money is a problem, don't let it be. Reach out to us, let us know, or reach out to the Gunslingers, talk to someone over there, and they will get in touch with us, and we will definitely have at least 2 young players sponsored so that money will not be an issue for them to attend camp. Elizabeth Clayton chiming in. I talked about Liz earlier, her and Josh. Hey guys, was a great time. They are now season ticket holders for the 2025 season, and that is awesome. They as well have purchased their tickets for July 20th for the last game, Outlaw Night. It is being billed as they're giving away bandanas to the first 1,000 fans. So can't wait to see that. And I think that's it for the Bullseye and Bull Spit, other than my own, which I will say.
Bring it, Leo. Bring it.
Bull Spit on throwing out Kali Rashad, my guy, number 5. Very upsetting, especially given the circumstances, all the stuff that ensued before that. Just because I say I'm happy to complain about the officiating and not the other stuff doesn't mean I'm happy with the officiating. It's horrible. You guys need to get better. I hope it gets better. Some stuff needs to happen in the offseason. San Antonio has been
get better glasses
again, slighted. Yes, LASIK something, but something needs to change because it was not good. And it definitely had a bearing on the San Antonio Gunslinger season. Definitely Bull Spit. Hopefully we get a little bit better on the last game. I'm not going to give them too hard of a time, even though they deserve it. And moving on to my Bullseye. I have to say my Bullseye for the week is seeing new people in the Freeman Coliseum. Yes, attendance isn't where we'd like it to be, but I saw a family with all of their San Antonio Brahmas, their San Antonio Brahmas t-shirts. They all sat in a row on the lower level, and there was like 5 of them, and that was cool to see. They're wearing Brahmas shirts, they're not wearing Gunslinger shirts, but it shows you we got Brahmas fans that are taking interest. That's awesome.
Love it.
People from the other podcast,
Horns Forward
podcast. Jackie was there. From what I understand, it was Jackie's first game. Jason, Jay-Z, Brian was there. Jason was one of the ones that was leading the chants on the sidelines. I could see him from the end zone, and he's telling people to be quiet, and he's saying, no, don't make noise right now. While the Gunslingers are on offense. It was great to see new faces, different faces, Elizabeth and Josh joining us. The attendance isn't where it wants to be, but when we see new people coming out and taking interest,
we love it.
And these stories like from April with the first responders that were there, saying they had low expectations, but now can't wait to be a part of it moving forward. That reminds me on the first responders. Jaden Palmer got a ball in the end zone, as he's very apt at doing. He's really good at getting balls.
Very good
at these games. He went over and offered it to a first responder that he saw on the wall around the corner. That first responder turned around and gave it to their captain's son. And the captain who gave it in turn gave it to his son, who is a young individual with special needs. And then they came and grabbed Jaden and said, can you please come take a picture with us? The captain's son was really, really excited and happy to get the ball. The captain was very appreciative. All of the first responders were very appreciative of the gesture and wanted to get a picture with Jaden. Stuff like that, things like that, where we're sharing the love and showing what this Gunslingers organization and this fan base is about.
It's amazing.
You can't say enough about it. It's amazing. I can't wait till we have the Freeman Coliseum full to the brim, as loud
Packed.
as it is now, and it does get
Right.
loud. It does get crazy. I can't imagine when we have 5,000 people in there being rowdy and making noise and ringing cowbells.
Woo, 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 woo.
I look so much forward to that day. I really, really can't wait to see that. Jordan Stubing, just want to say thank you to all you guys, Phil, Leo, and RC. We love and appreciate you and all you do, along with everyone else who has been loyal and amazing this whole season. Y'all are the lifeblood of this organization. Can't thank everyone enough. We thank you, Jordan. We have a glimpse of just a small portion of what you guys do, and we are amazed. And so we got to support you with everything we have, everything we can, and we do it gladly because we see what you do for this organization and this community and this fan base, and we can't say enough how much we love you guys and appreciate you guys for everything
Most
that you're
definitely.
doing. Absolutely.
Much love. Much respect.
James Palmer, my dad got a ball and found a fan on the upper level and gave it to a young kid, and his parents couldn't believe it. Stuff like this happens every game. We can't say enough
Every game.
about this community and this fan base and just everyone involved. Go up to Gunslinger Nation and you can purchase it and maybe see a practice at the same time. The Gunslinger Nation, those facilities we talked about are there. You can see a practice on when they have practice. I know they do Saturdays, I believe. And they have merch there if you want to buy merch. This amazing merch that Jordan's putting out. Everyone should make a trip out there to see what it is we're talking about, for sure.
Field trip this week.
We can't say enough about this and how excited we are. No playoffs. Yeah, it hurts, but
minor detail.
It's a bump in the road. Bigger and better things coming forward. Bigger and better things these next 2 weeks in the off season, I'm sure, because these guys never stop working. As soon as season is over, they start planning for the next one. And, more things and exciting things to come next season. And the goal is always going to be championship. Get a championship for San Antonio. I'll never forget Don Rackler's words. I'm not in this to make money. I'm in this to give affordable family events for the community of San Antonio and to bring something, build something that they can be proud of and bring a championship to the city of San Antonio that they deserve. And he meant that. And I smiled and said, yes, sir. And he goes, no. I really mean it. I'm telling you, we're getting a championship. That's the goal. And that's what we're going to do. And I believe it 100%. It didn't happen this year, obviously. And as Elizabeth said, for both teams need championship. Absolutely. We have our love for the Brahmas. And we will continue to support them and love that organization as well. Unfortunately,
think of this sort of like as a detour. If you're going to a destination and there's a detour in the road, you don't just not go to your final destination. You keep on going. You just have a different route. And that's what this is. So we're just on a detour, but the destination is the same. And the destination is to finish out this season strong. And that should not deter you from getting to that last game on July 20th. See you tailgating and see you at the game.
That's right. We are the Smoking Guns podcast. We are a podcast about football, professional football in the city of San Antonio. We can't say enough how truly grateful we are to be brought to you by some really amazing people that we make a point to mention every single time. Our patrons who really make this show go. They give,
absolutely.
And every month, they donate to it costs money to do what we do. And it costs money to sponsor these kids. It costs money to support the community the way the podcast tries to do. And these guys really make it happen behind the scenes with their help. And we can't say enough. We can't say thank you enough. Our patrons are Alfred Rodriguez, also known as the Missions Highlighter, James Palmer, Jay Washington, James Stubing, Kim and Greg Nelson, Mo and Iris Ferrante, and Texas Pete, We love you guys. We thank you guys. You all are family, your friends. We talk, all to you guys on a regular basis. And we can't say enough how grateful we are to your support. You can find the podcast anywhere that podcasts are, Apple Podcasts, anywhere podcasts,
Spotify.
Spotify, anywhere podcasts are being played. You can go there. You could search for Smoking Guns podcast. That's Smoking No G, Guns with a Z, POD. You can email the show at smokinggunspod@gmail.com. We are also a part of the Fuel Network. That's Fuel Sports Network fans who have a united experience in sports and entertainment. Great shows on that network besides ours. You have shows like the X-Fan Show, Gridiron, Bottom Line, the A-Train Show, Jersey the King Show,
the A-Team with RC.
With RC. Make sure you try and catch those when you can. There's a lot of great content on the Fuel Network. So until then, as Philip likes to say, and I am struggling with right now, wherever you may be, whether it's in Frisco, in Texas, or up in Massachusetts, they found out when they came down here, whether it's in Tucson, where we're going this week, or the Arizona Rattlers were coming down to visit us on the 20th. Please be there, support your team. The 210 has got something to say.
Bang, bang.